Lucky Lefty podcast, Honora Boys. We're back. Left is feeling much better. Brought to you by Honora Whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey, HonoraWhiskey.com. And if you're going to drink, you have to make sure that you do it.
Tylenol. You got to drink Tylenol, especially when you're sick. You got to stay away from all liquors when you don't feel good. But even with that, you got to do it responsibly.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Your boy SD2 Mics. That dude, the original Lucky Lefty himself, Malik Zaire. We're brought to you by Honora Whiskey and also Believe Network in partnership with FanDuel. Go over to FanDuel.com or download the FanDuel app. Currently, Notre Dame sits as a 2.5 point favorite. The over-under sits right at 53.5. 53.5. I'm taking Notre Dame and the points, bro. I'm giving up the points. I feel comfortable giving up the points too. 2.5, that's it. All right, let's get it.
Yeah, 2.5 is nothing.
Let's get it. 53.5. I don't know. It depends. I'll wait on the over-under until it gets closer to the game. I know Notre Dame
got that many points in them.
Yeah, I was about to say Notre Dame is going to contribute over 30. I know that for sure.
Yeah, we're going to get over 30. I don't know if they can get to 30. Still, I don't believe Carson Beck can come out there, even if he's a starter in day one, against undoubtedly another top 5 defense Notre Dame's going to roll out on the field.
Yeah.
With a new team and you've been hurt all year, you put up 30-plus points. If you do, I think he will be a Heisman contender.
For sure.
Because it would just be too many obstacles you would have crossed. I mean, and then to play well. Yeah, this ain't Georgia. This is Miami. You know what we do to them. So
what we do to them, Left?
Well, I guess except what was it, 2018?
It's so many Miami fans bringing up 2017, and I'm just
like, yeah. 27. Okay, you got it. Whatever.
Like, bro, I was in Soldier Field in 2012. I remember that one.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I
remember the spanking. I remember the spanking we put on the Hurricanes in Soldier Field in 2012. It was real.
With them ugly jerseys too. We had them half and halves.
Like, yeah. Those are one of the worst Shamrock joints.
Easily.
Yeah. You're right. Those are one. Did you come to that game? You were like, that was your senior year.
Oh,
right?
That was the year before me. So I would watch the film of Miami from last year. You guys at stadium camera angle is awful. That's the only thing I want to see change in y'all new stadium y'all building is that camera angle. Because oh my God, it's like you're sitting on the 50 and you don't get a good overhead. It's just I don't know why you guys decided to do that, but it was an ugly game all around. And it was snowy and rainy and stuff.
So today, on today's show, of course, if you missed last night's running back breakdown with former Notre Dame running back Reggie Brooks, you need to go check it out. While you subscribe on YouTube, make sure you hit the like button. TikTok, Twitter, X, Instagram at Lucky Lefty Pod. We got some fun videos up there on TikTok too. And I got a funny question to ask Left based upon one of the Notre Dame TikToks. And don't forget patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network, Lucky Legends Players Only podcast coming during the season.
We got a lot of stuff going on, man.
Audio edibles each and every day over at Believe Network, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. We are the home of the misguided passion, forever committed to making sure that we spin it. Different. So let me tell you something, bro. You put me on to the video. That was trending in indie football. So I have to ask you,
Oh, the
Shout
one with
out,
the dude crawling up the.
shout out to Sneed, shout out to K Hobbs, and
Oh, the,
shout out to Logan Sadate. I'll just leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that. I'll just
yeah,
leave it
yeah,
at that.
yeah.
Shout out to those three dudes. But this is my question because you have yet, I'm sure that your next blessing in this world will be a beautiful baby girl left.
Oh
I have
man.
to ask you, which of your former teammates would you not allow your daughter to date, bro?
Oh my God. Between it's a couple. It's a couple. You know, you got divorce on
Well,
that
just
list.
so you know, Uncle Red said none of them. Uncle Red's like they was some wild. Red's like
Because Reg
none of them.
knows,
Yeah.
dude, we got our teammates are different. You know, the only decent group while I was there where I'll be like, okay, I wouldn't mind too much is the tight ends. Every other position group is just a little too grimy for me. I just know too much about what you guys do. The tight ends have always been the upstanding citizens of the locker room, you know, the good looking guys. They don't really
Is
do
that
much.
right?
You got your Troy Nicholas, your Ben Koyaks, your Durham Smythes. I mean, these are very mellow, chilled out individuals. You know, these are not your DeVaris Daniels and of the world and your TJs. I wouldn't let Ev date my girl. Absolutely not. Are you crazy? I wouldn't let none of the court except Brandon. I would let Brandon date my daughter. All the other quarterbacks at
B.
that time,
Wimbush?
nah, Wimbush, that
Okay.
B. my dog. B. Wimbush was raised right, love his mama. You know, he gonna take
That's the
care. You
key.
know,
That's the key. You gotta love your mama.
yeah, great mom, great mom. So add up. All the other quarterbacks, though, absolutely not. We'd have to fight.
Not fight.
They're just too crazy. I mean, it's just too crazy.
Man, let me tell you something. I think I'm gonna stick up for the guys. I'm gonna stick up for the guys without even being there. And say that, in college sometimes, man, you can just be a very take K Hobbs, for instance. Shout out because his dad watches the show. So shout out to Mr. Hobbs. Um, you can just be a very personable young man, bro. You can just be a very personable young man. Let me
No.
finish, Left. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Oh my God.
Sometimes you can just be a very personable young man, dude. Just a social butterfly, bro. Like you come around, you don't have a problem getting along with anybody. And no matter where you go, no matter what the surrounding is, you feel comfortable. And sometimes you get blamed for being comfortable when others, might have some hangups and some insecurities, dude. That's all I'm saying.
It's funny
So
because
I think K Hobbs, Logan, and Jalen Sneed are probably social butterflies. They probably get along with everybody. You know what I mean? They probably get
you
along with
gotta watch
everybody
out.
and are super cool dudes to kick it with. And then
You
they
got
get the raw end of the stick. They get the raw end of the stick.
K Hobbs the youngest, and you got the team reporting on you. Oh yeah. Oh, K Hobbs not even a senior. They talk about I would never.
And K Hobbs was laying on the couch, like listening to all of this.
Because he knows. Listen, these
He
are you
said,
talk about your brothers. These are guys that are with you and see you in action, on and off the field. So these reviews are due to probably a ton of inside jokes, a bunch of stories of first person, and the way Carson played it so smooth. Oh, man, like I don't know what they're talking about. I'm a great guy. Who does that remind you of? Steph Diggs. Remember they said the same thing about Steph Diggs? They did the video of the Vikings in the locker room, and out of 20 players, 19 said Steph Diggs. And we see what Stephon Diggs is doing right now.
man, at least, yeah. That's true.
So if you the youngest and the whole team from seniors down, talking about, I don't mess with him. He tripping. Hey, You gotta watch out for that. Oh man, that's funny.
Man, what's the sneakiest position group on the team? Or the underrated ones where you would never know, like,
Receivers, because they try to be divas, so they try to downplay everything. Like your Corey Holmes, your Corey Robinsons, you wouldn't think they doing nothing, but they like to be private.
hey, it
Receivers,
was a wide receiver that pulled well, they're no longer together, but
yeah,
your boy
I think
Daniel
that's just
Smith did pull. Yeah,
Will Scott.
yeah.
Oh, they're not together anymore?
The reports were that they were, separating. I don't know
I
if it's
knew it was gonna be rough when she didn't change her name. She went from Skylar Diggins Smith instead of just Skylar Smith.
yeah.
It was gonna be tough.
Can you do me a favor, man? I know you have connections, man. I'm going to intercede. I'm going to tell the intercessors here at the church to get into prayer for Hannah Hidalgo because I got to get that curse of the shop off her. I don't know why she decided to be a guest on the shop,
Wait, what happened?
but I got to get that curse up off Hannah before the season starts.
No, is she doing bad?
No, she didn't do bad. It's actually a pretty good interview. It's a great interview. Notre Dame fans, you go check out Hannah Hidalgo. She was on the shop. It was a pretty good interview. Pretty good interview. I just want to get that HGH cheat stuff off of.
Oh, she's being accused of it.
No, I'm just saying I don't want it to rub off on them.
Oh, here we go. First of all, Jeff
See,
Teague.
because they think Rich Paul, they think they slick because they trying to get her in the Clutch family. I know what they're trying to do.
Oh, what?
They're trying to
Whoa!
get her in the Clutch family.
It's just a recruiting meeting. We just want to do some media with you. Dang,
See, Coach Vic, thank you, Coach Vic, thank you. That's why Hannah was good on the shop, but she looked out of place. That's not her vibe. She's
What?
not them. She's not Hollywood like them cats. She's not fake. She's gritty.
What?
She's gritty.
Come on, man. That's what Clutch needs on the roster.
She wasted her time. Yeah, you're right. Clutch does need somebody on the roster that's actually real. You're absolutely right.
Wow.
I agree. So go check it out. Indy Football's done an incredible job. Follow them, Indy Football, social media, all platforms, putting out pictures, videos, everything. Super dope. Practice in Notre Dame Stadium over the weekend. You saw the catch that Malachi Fields made that everybody's raving about.
He's a lot taller than I thought.
Bruh, I tried to tell you.
Yeah.
This team is different.
Yeah.
It's different. I asked Reg last night, I said, do you think this team is at the place, or do you think this team has turned the corner as far as being an annual national title contender? Do you think Notre Dame is at that place? And he said, this year will tell. He said, this is the year.
If we can't do it this year, get just as good, if not better.
Yeah.
Because I truly believe we're way better than last year.
Way better.
Way better due to health, due to size. I think guys are just more locked in. That was a young group last year.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys that played was their first action.
Yeah.
So to get the young guys another year of experience, like you're Brian Young, and then turn around and bring them all back pretty much. I mean, who did we lose? Xavier and Ben Morrison. Replaceable guys, not in the sense of their production necessarily, but you got Tay Johnson.
we're going to talk about Tay a little bit today. We talk about the buzz around him.
Really step in that role, and they just add something a little different. I wouldn't say necessarily is better, but it's not a drop off either. Yeah, losing Howard Cross and Riley Mills is significant in some ways, but we replaced those two with 8 interior D line. 8.
And one moved over the offensive line.
So if we can't find a replacement or better production at an 8 dude, we talking about the 2 interior. We ain't even talking about pass rushers. So I'm not too concerned. Because last year I just don't believe we had a single player that was just we could not have. Maybe Xavier, but we played so well as a team. That's what really got me, is that we played so well as a team, is that everybody had their strengths and there was no, I wouldn't call it a weak link, but we didn't have a lack in any area. And I think being stronger in those areas the next year, I just find it hard for us to be in a position where we lose a game, because I don't see anybody else's roster as deep as ours. I mean, we're 3-4 deep in damn near every position. I'm talking about 3-4 deep. Running backs be 5 deep. Tight ends we 4 deep. Receivers, we got 9 potentials. We don't have no. I mean, Jaden Greathouse, I guess, would be your number 1 coming out, maybe. But
I mean, if Malachi Fields just does what he always does,
that's what I'm saying.
He's the number production-wise, his numbers.
With Paul Halling and Malachi and Jaden Greathouse and, you know, all the guys that we love, just doesn't get the quite opportunity. Like your Micah Gilbert, where does he fit into the season? KK Smith, where does he fit in? So the only thing you got to worry about being on this team is how many years you got left. How many years I got to hang around, because I got to, you know, you got to sit your time. You know what I mean? You got to wait for that window to come. And
you better walk through it.
Environment, yeah. But it's getting to the point where guys are leaving and it's just like, the window's been missed. I mean, it ain't no problem. But Kenny Urlacher's window was barely even given to him. Think about that. It wasn't even like he lost something. He just, dude, we got ballers. And when he got in the bright moments, he played well, which gave him good value going to another spot. But we in something serious. And I think as long as we keep the staff halfway decently together, we'll be fine. We had 3 offensive linemen leave, by the way. All
that would
3
have been backups. That would have been backups.
That are starting and captains at other schools.
Yes.
Starting and captains. And this is like the 3rd year in a row, because last year Zeke Carrell was a captain, all ACC.
North Carolina State. Yeah. Yeah.
So just to let everybody know, we lost 3 linemen that are starters on other teams and potentially captains that were backups, that were, quote unquote, played, gave the runaround by who we would consider at the time starters. We given starters runarounds.
Yeah.
So it's a different echelon of player, because being good is almost not good enough. We liked all 3 linemen that left. We just know that there's 3 more guys that are better.
Yeah.
We went to the national championship with 3 starting linemen that all left. And we're feeling even better the next year. Where do they do that? That's why, I mean, yeah, it's hard to win games. It's hard to go 12-0. I just think we're just built too overwhelming for these rosters. Think about it. Ohio State had to have a 20 million plus roster, the number 1 player in the draft, all sort of draft top 3 draft picks just to beat us by 11. And we had no offensive production. We gave our best player the ball 4 times, barely had any receiving attempts, and we lost by 11. So, and that's with a team that literally has everything. Mm-hmm. That's what makes it so scary. Even if we don't play particularly well, it just takes a lot from another team to overcome. You got to be great on defense all game. Then you can't turn the ball over. Remember, Navy turned the ball over 5 times in the first quarter. Felt like the game was over. Then you got to have a quarterback that's very capable. I don't see us playing any Tyler Shucks this year.
No, I do think they face better quarterbacks this year.
Who?
In quantity. I think Mayava is a good quarterback. I think he showed that when Jay Mayava for USC. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he showed that when they played. I said good. They don't face anybody spectacular.
No.
Marcel Reed from Texas A&M, his second year.
But we saw what that was.
Well, heck, he was better than what they threw out their game 1 last year.
We made Connor Wegman, who was quote unquote a Heisman contender at that point, non-factor after the first game.
No. We didn't make him look. He was a non-factor. We didn't make him look like that. He was a non-factor before he even played Notre Dame. I tried to tell people.
You ruined his whole thing.
I tried to tell people he was trash. I tried to tell people.
Just because he know a couple rap lyrics and he cut his hair to the left a little bit, it's like, no, that don't mean nothing. No. Eli Holstein, bring him here. I would love to play him at Pitt. They had a good season up to 7-8 games, and they bottomed out. But come here, come here. Because think about it, alone. If we just decide to be a running team alone, you got 5 capable running backs.
What did we say before the show? We were talking about Kennedy Urlacher, and we literally said, if he goes to USC and starts, what does that say about their secondary? That's not shade. That's not shade on Kennedy Urlacher at all.
But we know that Kennedy Urlacher had to leave because it just wasn't enough space. USC is saying, come start. Whoa. I'm not saying he's not a good player.
No, it's that. I think he's fantastic.
But clearly, we thought a little differently. He needed to wait a little more time because we just have even better players. That's what make it funny. We got even better players. So, not that I don't think a team won't give us a challenge. It would be more on our part to not play well for a team to make it close. I think the NIU type game, I don't think we'll face something like that because offensively we have too many options, and we have a guy that's.
Let's play. I'm going to call an audible here. Throw a little back behind the backpack. Let's have some fun because I like where you took it, and I like where the chat is going with this. Before we get to Chris Ash and what he had to say to the media. Name the scary team.
Right.
I didn't say name. Name the scary team on the Notre Dame schedule.
Yes.
Name the scary team on the Notre Dame schedule.
Because most people will say Miami, Texas A&M, and who? Florida
Miami.
State.
Look. Miami doesn't scare me at all, bro. Miami doesn't scare me at all. Newt Rockney, you're trolling. I'm not even going to put what you said up because you're trolling. The fact you put Stanford in there, stop. JG, Y-Town ND fan says there isn't one. All right.
Does Stanford have David Shaw?
The Andretti said A&M. Ed 3 said A&M.
But what about A&M? It's scary.
Oh, Mike Elko, you know they're going to be well coached. That you know they're going to be well coached.
But what would they do that would have us scared? Maybe that's the better question. Like, what are they bringing that we're have to be aware of, because I don't think they can stop our running backs. They didn't last year. We have a better quarterback than last year. Defensively, Marcel Reed is still going against an experienced defense. He just became the full-time starter.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's just like, do we think he's going to light us up for 400 yards? Is he like that as a prospect individually? I don't think so. Do I think he'll give good effort? And I just think it's really hard, unless you're a top 5 quarterback, to just roll out against Notre Dame and keep yourself in the game, especially with a roster that's lacking in areas. I would ask the chat, where are we lacking on the roster? Where would you say we could do a lot better here? I can't find too many places where I can say, oh, we should have had a better this, we should have had better that. We just got nothing but potential, talent, and athleticism.
Look, I just don't see anything scary. You know, people are like, oh man, the schedule is so much tougher. Totally agree with you. As of right now, it is tougher than last year. However, Miami doesn't scare me. Carson Beck doesn't scare me. Marcel Reed's ability with his arm and his legs, depending on their wide receiver core, which didn't threaten Notre Dame at all last year. So I have to see if those youngsters that they had on the team last year have grown up and are viable threats on the outside. If not, Pitt is that team that starts off hot every year and fades until further notice. USC, the game is here. The game is here at night, and USC walked in here with Caleb Williams and got smoked. And the defense was nowhere near, the defense was nowhere near as good as it is this year.
That's what I'm saying. We can't hype up a boogeyman when it really is what it is. I mean, look at what we have.
Yeah.
What's on the schedule. It's not like we necessarily did this ourselves, but you just have to wonder, what can teams stack up against us?
And I think
even their best players individually wouldn't start for our team. That's the signifier. Who's starting on our schedule that will start on our team? I can't name too many people. So the Kenny Urlacher example you gave, he goes and start at USC. I'm not afraid of USC. Not because Kenny's not good, but Kenny couldn't even fit in with all of what we had. But if that's y'all starter, that means y'all not deep at that position. Your recruiting isn't as good as ours. It's a desperate move. And it just shows that you don't have enough. And so, I don't know. I mean, shoot, we damn near give away good players to other teams.
No, we literally give away good players to other teams.
Seriously.
We do.
We give away good players.
That's a fact. And I thought about this as you were speaking, Lef. What elite coach are they facing? Because Cristobal is awful, in my opinion. Cristobal is not good. He just got over 500 in Miami last year, thanks to the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft.
That's what I'm saying. The number 1 overall.
Elko's a beast. Elko's a beast.
But Elko's in year 2 of his program.
Yes. Lincoln Riley? What?
He was copping pleas before the season even started, talking about, oh, I don't want to play them. So he's mentally scarred by playing Notre Dame. I mean, you see him on the sideline when he plays us. He just looks dumbfounded, like, here we go again. We just don't have – you know what Indiana coach say? They just whooped us in all
Spencer Danielson, Boise State is a good coach, good solid coach.
They're just not big enough
Man,
as a team.
just
We
not big
literally
enough.
have a bigger team than last year.
And this is no shade. Once again, no shade.
They're just not big enough.
Their starting field corner is Jaden Mickey.
Oh my gosh. See, it's not us. Look at what's happening. Jaden Mickey's the starting corner, a guy that couldn't hang on a lesser talent roster, not due to him.
No. He can hang. Now, Jaden just didn't want to share time. He wanted a shot to be a full time.
That's my point. That's my point, though.
I want to differentiate that because there was a chance that Kennedy Urlacher might have been third string and not shared any time starting. Jaden Mickey might have had a chance to play nickel and start.
With Tariq Bracy during that time? I don't know.
I'm just saying, Jaden Mickey. I think Jaden Mickey would have found his way on the field if he was willing to go ahead and play nickel and allow Christian Gray and Leonard Moore to be outside. But he wanted to play outside full time.
Yeah, full time corner. He's not tall. We have Malachi Fields. Malachi Fields is like 6'5".
So it just goes to your point, Left. You know, when you have a program where you're losing guys and they're going to other programs and they're starters and they're becoming captains, that is a pretty good indicator of where your program stands.
Yeah. Guys don't stay in the transfer portal from Notre Dame. If you hop in that transfer portal from Notre Dame, most likely you're off that portal in the next week or so. And that's after you take your trips and your visits and you're a hot commodity. You know what I mean? So that's the plus I would say.
This is Zapatos 1290. Thanks for tapping in as always. We appreciate you. How do you guys feel about the Notre Dame defensive line versus Miami's offensive line and A&M's offensive line? Those are good offensive lines, and we need to see what our D-line is made of, especially interior.
Yeah.
The D-line interior is something we've been talking about for 2 years. So there is no pushback there.
Miami's best part of their O-line is the tackles. So not
and the tackles are mediocre. See this? Yeah. Look, they got 3 guys back from an O-line last year that by the middle and the end of the season had Cam Ward running for his life every other snap.
Oh, my God.
Well, just because they play games, it doesn't mean that they're good.
To the point Cam was throwing it across the field.
Cross his body, all type. Dude, go watch the Georgia Tech game. That it was ridiculous. Cam Ward was running for his life. The Louisville game. Now, Cam will put up points because he was just ridiculous. And he had ridiculous receivers.
Yep.
But that O-line that's not an elite O-line. They're okay. They're okay. A&M, same thing. That O-line wasn't good against Notre Dame last year. And by the time they got to Texas in the end of the SEC schedule, it was a wrap. So I think they need to show, both of those O-lines need to show that they can improve and that they are better.
Yeah.
Not to say that they can't be. I've yet to watch the film. I asked somebody about Bell, the left tackle for Miami. He's 6'9", 330. I was like, yo, that's a massive human being. But I had to ask around, and I'm getting mixed, reviews on him. Some people are like, yo, he can be really good. Some people are like, he's slow. I'm like,
that's going to be a problem.
That's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. I will say, if they can find a way, I love Mark Fletcher, who is their power back.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to break a long one, but he can grind you. 5 here, 6 there, possibly break one 10 to 12. But he's just one of those guys that, gets going and then he picks up lather by the time it gets into the fourth quarter. And if you don't slow him down, then it could be a problem.
But you're just not going to beat us one way either. You're just not going to run the ball all game and think you're going to beat us. because you end up going against the clock where you only got 17 points and 3 minutes left in the fourth, and we got 35 because we're scoring in bunches and quicker. And so I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm saying. What would be the strategy for a Notre Dame team that 95% of these games will be more talented overall as a roster, from coaching staff
Yeah.
to positional? I mean, it's just a lot we're bringing, and I just don't think recruiting or roster build on any of these teams we play is just as deep as we are. I mean, debatably our recruiting is up there with Ohio State and Michigan. Those are the two best recruiting schools right now.
Michigan
So
is solid. Michigan is solid. Ohio State is a step above Michigan. I'm interested in seeing how Georgia recovers from a recruiting standpoint after the coaches they've lost in the last couple of years. USC is just signing numbers right now. I mean, they're getting really good players. I'll give them credit. They're trying to put a fence around the state of California once again, which is a good start. I don't think, it's hard, man. Left, we talked about this. It's difficult to go undefeated in the regular season, bro.
it is.
Right?
It is.
So we referenced that 2015 team that you all played at Clemson that made it to the national championship, lost to Alabama, and then had to come back the next year. And the season they had to go through, losing the pit, almost losing another game at the end of the season, I believe, to South Carolina. Like, dude, they went through a lot just to get back. And Notre Dame is going to have to weather that. It's going to be a different journey just to get back. You know, they can't think that far ahead, but you know that's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. But they have to focus on the task at hand every week.
Right.
One day at a time, 1 week at a time, one team at a time, 1 month at a time. That's
And Marcus
one
Freeman has
quarter.
proven that he can keep a team focused through an extra long season. Remember, we've never had these many games before. And so for Marcus Freeman to keep that consistency and got stronger as the year got later, he did something that you've never done before. How do you hold a team's patience? How do you hold a team's mentality when you never had these many games before? You only lost one game, and that was early. And you're just steamrolling teams after that. So whatever Marcus Freeman is selling, the team is buying. And I think a lot of what good coaching staffs do is keep your team locked in. And so when you lose certain pieces of your staff, that's the tip of the iceberg for me, when you just start losing the overall esque of a dominant team, just because those are just key pieces. I mean, it affects everything.
Lucky Lefty podcast. So, Left, what do you think would be the biggest challenge for the defense? The biggest challenge for the defense this year?
Finding the stars. I think that we have a bunch of great players, but we don't have any bona fide stars. No Xavier, no Ben Morrison, guys that are projected. I mean, I think, like I said, Drake Bowen, I think, will be really good. Is he the star of the unit? Is he the bona fide leader, where it's him and nobody else? So when I mean stars, I mean X factors, guys we depend on late in games, because that's just what it takes. Ohio State, as good as their roster was, they had legitimate stars that you knew about. Jeremiah Smith, Travion Henderson, stars on a good team. So when we can get stars on a good team, we're in the right spot.
Before we get over to Chris Ash, I think who steps up and becomes those stars will go a long way to whether or not Notre Dame makes it back to the playoff. And that's exactly where they want to be. I promise you, man. I'm going to go out on a limb and tell you, if this team makes it to the playoffs, they will go to another level. because when you have gotten there and lost, that's why in the NFL, usually the team that loses the Super Bowl, I think 60% of the time doesn't even make the playoffs the next year. It's something crazy. So that journey to get back, that struggle to get back after a deflating loss, being on the cusp of winning it all, everybody's not strong enough to soldier through that path again. And I'm telling you, if Notre Dame makes it back to the playoff and they get their seeding, those players in that program, they're going to take a big exhale. Like, okay, we're here. We're here. We've been waiting for this tournament. We've been waiting for this dance. This is what we've been waiting for. We're back. Now we're about to turn up and show cats who we really are. I really think they're going to have something extra in the tank once they get to the playoffs. Lucky Lefty podcast. And if you go to FanDuel, they're minus 205 to make it back to the playoffs right now. Minus 205 to make it back to the playoffs, and plus 158 not to make it to the playoffs. Plus 158 not to make it to the playoffs over at FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app or go to FanDuel.com. All right, Left. Chris Ash, he met with the media. You said that you have concerns and you talked about the biggest challenge. We've lamented the interior defensive line. We talked about most national champions give up less than 100 yards on the ground. That has been a constant. And with all of that being said, one has to wonder, will there be an adjustment for this talented defense with new defensive coordinator Chris Ash, who replaces Al Golden, who departed to the NFL for the Cincinnati Bengals? He talked about that. Camp, fresh start, and this is what Chris Ash had to say.
Really here, the whole camp, we've got a few objectives, and I think we're on the right track to try to reach those by the time camp is over. We just want to become consistent. You know, we have a play style that we want to play with, and we want to do it consistently day after day after day, and it needs to show up on Saturdays for the games. But I really like where we're at right now.
And then I know it's early, but the three freshman corners, what are just kind of your impressions of them so far?
They're just learning. You know, they're out there getting thrown to the fire a little bit, but they're learning, they're competing, they're getting better every single day. So really pleased with all the young guys from what they've done so far here during training camp.
First year at Notre Dame, what have you kind of learned from your previous stops, from other experience that you've had, you're kind of trying to either apply at Notre Dame or just kind of keep in the back of your head?
Really, it's a process, and here it's no different. It's a process to get us to where we want to get to, but it really starts about the relationships. Me getting to know the players, them getting to know me, the staff, and just being consistent with what we're doing. That's really it. I mean, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to fit into how I've got to fit in and get to know everybody and work the process the way we need to.
Yeah, his job is about not doing too much, making sure guys work in the new terminology and learn the concepts, but you know, he's not trying to rule with an iron fist in his first year. I think that of course he would want to have his own stuff implemented, but like he said, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Take what we got and then build on it piece by piece. So him hanging in the background essentially, or just adding his tidbits, I think is great for maintaining team chemistry and team composure, where guys don't feel like you've switched everything up in a year. And that can be unsettling for some people because you like, man, I was just getting the hang of this. I was just getting good at something. And then you come in and change everything. So I like that he's coming slow to go. And then when he gets it, he's going fast. But I think this conversation we're having with him now is a totally different conversation by next year and the year after. I think he'll be more aggressive in terms of putting in stuff that he likes, really switching things up. But when you go 12-1 or 15-1, hey, you just along for the ride up to a certain extent.
Super sticker, John Fisher, we appreciate you. If you got a GTB question, or a super chat, super sticker, go ahead, throw it in. We'll get into it immediately. Left, he'll be right back. Chris Ash, in my opinion, and this is something I've said, and I'll say it again. Love to hear what the chat has to say. I think the hiring of Chris Ash, you hang everything on the fact that Marcus Freeman has shown himself to be an excellent judge of coaches and an excellent judge of people to put around him. That makes me confident in Chris Ash as a hire. Makes me very confident in Chris Ash as a hire. Now, schematically, there will be some differences. I'm sure he'll call games a little bit different than Al Golden. Notre Dame fans would just go crazy about Al Golden just running the linebackers into the middle of the offensive line. And when you really look back at it, and you look at what he lost due to injury, and Howard Cross really being at 70%, 75% the majority of the second half of the year, Al Golden was trying to create pressure up the middle because he lost his best two pass rushers off the edge, so he couldn't get consistent pressure off the edge. So I give Al Golden some grace. He was trying to find a way to create pressure and to block up the run lanes when he did run blitz. Chris Ash, in my opinion, gives the defensive backs the ability and the defense an ability to disguise. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing, right? Every time you line up and you give the same look, it does not mean that you're in the same coverage. In the vast majority of the time, teams knew that Notre Dame were going to be in man-to-man. But how is that man-to-man going to look now? Are they going to be an off man and come up late? Are they going to start and bump and run and bail a little bit right before the snap? Are they going to be in bump and run, but it's really cover 2 or cover 3? When you have range at safety like Tay Johnson, does that give you the ability to do a lot of things to take away the middle of the field in the passing game because you know the range he has on the back end, which makes Adon Shuler an even better player, whether it's Tay Johnson or Luke Talich at the free safety. I think for me, it's going to be very telling. It's going to be very telling starting off against Miami in that first quarter, especially with a veteran quarterback who has seen a lot. This has nothing to do with his performance last year, how underwhelming Carson Beck might have been. But I'm here to tell you, Irish fans, you better throw some things at him to give him a little bit of pause to allow the pass rush to get to him, because he is a young man that is cerebral. That's who he is. He's a cerebral quarterback pre-snap. Now, after the snap, I don't know where all of that intelligence goes. That's the crazy thing. Something happens when he actually receives the ball. Because pre-snap, he's pretty smart. Post-snap, decision-making, not so much. So I'm looking forward to Chris Ash. I'm looking forward to Chris Ash and what he's asking this defense to do. And he talked about the style of play. You say, what is the style of play, might you add? I think they're just going to play like their hair is on fire. I think he knows he has an extremely fast and long defense that can cover a lot of ground, right? So I would play a lot of zone, especially if I knew I had a really good defensive line. I would let my defensive line get after teams, let my linebackers roam, and then just zone up everything and allow my defensive backs to have their eyes on the quarterback and just suffocate teams. and then, use man with the talent you have at defensive back. I wouldn't have a problem with them being in man 50, 55% of the time. Wouldn't have a problem with that at all. But it's all about the way you disguise it, all about the way you show it. And then that defensive line, as someone said in the chat, that defensive line stepping up, particularly on the interior, because the interior of the defensive line allows the linebackers, as talented as they are, to go handle their business. That's what they do. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Chris Ash talked about Leonard Moore, his second year, how he's improving, and the depth on the defense. This is what he had to say.
Yeah, we talked about that the other day. The players need to earn the right to play, but we want to play as many players as we possibly can. I think that's got to be one of our strengths, is our depth, our ability to rotate, keep guys fresh, be able to fight through injuries. So far, we're rotating a lot of guys at practice, and they embrace it, and they're all competing. They all want that opportunity to go out there and start, but at the end of the day, we're going to have a lot of guys that are good enough to start, and we're going to play a lot of guys.
What are you seeing from Leonard Moore, Coach, on and off the field as he steps into more of that senior role, even though he's a sophomore?
Yeah, he's still young, I forget that at times. Someone was asking about a play from last year, what year were you? And he said, freshman. I'm like, yeah, he's still a freshman. But out here, it's like he's a fifth-year senior. The way he goes about and handles his business in the meetings, the extra work that he puts in, he's here early, he stays late. One of the first ones out here onto the practice field. He's always trying to do things at a high level. Again, he's still young, so he's still got a lot of room to improve, but boy, he competes.
Of course he competes. That's how he got on the field as a true freshman. Everything Chris Ash says lines up with what we saw. You don't come in as a true freshman and get thrown into the fire against Louisville after an injury in pregame to Christian Gray. Play that way, and then Ben Morrison gets injured, and then you take over for him. And it's almost like Ben Morrison. That's the crazy thing. I think Ben Morrison was disrespected by a lot of people because of how good Leonard Moore was as a true freshman. His play made people feel like, oh, we didn't need Benjamin Morrison until we faced Ohio State. And it would have been a lot of fun to watch Benjamin Morrison, Leonard Moore, and Christian Gray line up against that wide receiver core. That's when you missed Riley Mills, Boubacar Traore, Jordan Botello, and all the guys that were injured. That Ohio State game, if you have Traore, Botello, Benjamin Morrison, and Riley Mills, that game, I'm pretty confident that game looks different in how it went. I'm not sitting here predicting the score. I'm just telling you, if all of them played, that game would not have gone in the flow or would not have flowed the way it ended up flowing. No way. No way. Jay Lamont, hey, a lot of people probably agree with you. But that is, when you get to that point, you need your dogs. And literally Notre Dame got to that point, one could say, without 4 of their top 10 players. I'll say that again. Man, I just thought about that. I'll say that again. Notre Dame made it to the national championship game without 4 of its top 10 players. And that might be stretching it, because they literally might have been 4 of their top 7 players on the team. Riley Mills, Benjamin Morrison, without a doubt. Traore is top 5 or right on the fringe, 5'7". Botello might be the only one. Botello might be the only one that you can say, man. And to be honest, the way Ashton Craig was playing, he might be fringe top 10 last year. So that just goes to show you. We talk about depth. Chris Ash talks about depth. Yo, you got to play and compete. You got to earn your way on the field. I'm all for that, especially with the depth of talent that they have on the roster. Veteran, young. But I think this is going to be a really fast defense that attacks, because that is Chris Ash's MO. He loves to attack. He loves to attack. But behind that, he loves to disguise, give you different looks, mix up zone, mix up man. That's going to be the nightmare for offensive coordinators. And another thing, no disrespect to Al Golden as we get ready to let you guys go. It's a truncated show today because, as you can see, I'm here in my office and we are 5 minutes from Bible class. I'm getting ready to go into Bible class, but we definitely want to tap in with you guys today. We did not want to miss a show today, as Left missed yesterday due to his illness. But I will say this before we listen to Chris Ash one more time before getting out of here. I think Al Golden left at the right time. Al Golden left at the right time. Because I do believe that eventually college football was going to catch up. And I forget who it was. Someone made a great point in speaking about what they want to see from, here it is, I believe, Ed 3. The only question about Chris Ash comes down to his situational play calling. And I believe someone else brought up here it is, Notre Dame, NC Notre Dame fan. No question, but a comment. I want to see how Ash does with second half adjustments. That's what Golden was good at. Totally agree with both of your points. Totally agree with both of your points. However, I will say that I think the style that he wants to play is really going to free the talent. I do think so. Playing faster, being in attack mode, I really think that the talent in the defenses on the defensive side of the ball is really going to be excellent and be freed up to wreak havoc. That's just the way I feel. But I totally agree. Situational play calling, adjustments. But I do think Al Golden leaving, he left right before the rest of college football kind of caught up with the things that he was doing. I honestly believe that. Honestly believe that. Because the best way to attack Al Golden's defense is to run the ball. Penn State. And of course, personnel means everything. Against Penn State and Ohio State, Notre Dame was down some big-time personnel in the defensive front. But you have to run the ball against Al Golden's defense. You have to. You have to. And I mean, that's the primary objective offensively for most good teams. Run the ball, set the foundation, everything flows off of that. So I'm not telling you anything that's unknown. Chris Ash talking about star of the camp defensively, Bronte Johnson. This is what he has.
Yeah, well, to start, I've talked about that a lot in the past. This is the Notre Dame defense. And there are certain things that are really important to play defense at Notre Dame. And it has nothing to do with scheme. It has everything to do with the mindset of the players. That they show up and they play fast, they play violent, and they compete consistently. They're fundamentally sound, they're situationally aware, and we're going to go at it. We're going to go compete, and we're going to do the best that we can every single day. That's the Notre Dame defense.
I had to stop it right there, Notre Dame fans. He just told you. Everything I just uttered, Chris Ash just told you. This is not about scheme. I love this dude. I love what I'm hearing right now. He's smart enough to come in and say, yo, I don't have to scheme up a lot of stuff. Dude, we got some dogs. We got some athletes. I need to let these dudes just go play. I need to put them in position to just go make plays. Oh, I love this. I had to stop it in the middle. I had to stop the video. I don't know about you, but I'm excited. I just got amped up listening to it. All the questions. What is Chris Ash going to do? Is he going to change anything? The best thing Chris Ash has done is come in the spring, watch practices, and said, "Oh my God, oh, I got some dudes. Man, let me put this pad to the side. Let me focus on fundamentals." And he said that. He just said that. They're fundamentally sound. And we're going to play fast and we're going to play violent. You got to love it. You absolutely have to love it. All right, Coach Ash, let's listen to the rest.
In terms of scheme, it's all about concepts. The concepts that I like are the same things that they've had here in this package. And that's really where it's at. And we're just trying to get better every single day. And, the guys are confident in what we're doing. They have a lot of belief in themselves, and they're flying around and competing and having a lot of fun out here right now.
We'll close with that. Coach, when you look at Tay Johnson, what has stood out about him and what you've been able to see through the spring and then now through the first couple of days?
Well, he's a tremendous athlete. That's where it starts. But he's got a nose for the ball. He's always around the ball. He's got great ball skills. He's going to get his hands on the ball. He's got great range. He can run sideline to sideline, and he's not afraid to hit. He's still a young pup as well, and he's growing and learning every single day. But the sky's the limit for him.
I'm about to be hyperbolic. This is the way you end the show. Tay Johnson gives me Sean Taylor vibes. The kid can play wide receiver like Sean Taylor did. He can play free safety like Sean Taylor did. He can come down in the box, blitz, smack you in the run game like Sean Taylor did. And he can go play. He was the backup cornerback to Leonard Moore in the second half of the season. And showed himself well when he got in. That's this kid. I told you I was about to be hyperbolic. No shame. He's that good. He's that talented. He's that talented. Now, I know you guys are going to go and be like, "Oh, Sean just said Bronte Johnson is Sean Taylor." He's in the beginning of becoming that good. He's not that right now. He's not that dude that was All-American. But he is at the beginning of the process of developing into that type of player at the safety position in college football. He can do everything. The kid can play quarterback. The kid can play wide receiver. The kid can play corner, safety, nickel. He can do it all. Flat out do it all. No cap. He can. He can do it all. This is crazy. I know Luke Talich more than likely will get the start. Coach Vic, I don't know if he can kick field goals, but it wouldn't shock me. It flat out wouldn't shock me. Luke Talich probably is the week 1 starter. But by the time we get to week 3 or 4, he's going to be a dude. He's going to be a dude. The biggest challenge to Notre Dame is not a team. The biggest challenge to Notre Dame in this season will be the injured list. Because if they can keep that injured list clean and to a minimum, this team is just too good. They're good. There's nothing else. Notre Dame fans, we haven't seen it like this. We haven't. You just haven't seen it like this. I'm telling you, this team is better than last year. They're better than last year. Doesn't mean they're going to have a better regular season record. Doesn't mean they're going to have a higher seed in the playoffs. I'm just telling you, from a talent standpoint, they're better. And they have the right leadership. There's no question about that. Leadership, coaching, talent. Most of the time, that means you got a darn good chance of hoisting the trophy at the end of the year. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Please go subscribe on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up. Helps with the views. Follow us on TikTok, Twitter, X, Instagram, Lucky Lefty Pod. Apple Podcast, Spotify, courtesy of Believe Network, and brought to you by FanDuel. Go over to FanDuel right now. 31-1 odds that CJ Carr wins the Heisman. 31-1 odds that he wins the Heisman. Who knew? Man, they might as well just call that dude, that dude. They might as well just call the Heisman Trophy the best quarterback trophy. Because it's definitely not for the best player in all of college football. That ended a long time ago. Catch us tomorrow, guys. We'll be back. I got Ken Gibbs will come on with us tomorrow to preview the Miami game and the rest of the ACC schedule. And of course, we'll get into some Three's Company topics only as we can. For Malik, SD2 Mics, you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm about to go give God some praise, man. Love you guys. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Have a great Tuesday evening. And by all means, continue to make sure that you spin it different. We'll see you tomorrow.